Are you ready? All right. We are tuned back into the Bankedoutt Radio Show. I'm your host, Andreas, a.k.a. Discover This, and I have my second special guest coming down from the Atlanta area, Mr. EK.Rodgers, who is a Stone Mountain resident. He graduated from GSU, and he is on his quest to document and bring you the best of Atlanta through the various cultures and social economic statuses that it has to offer. He's also a student of the martial arts for over 20 years, and he's here to actually talk about a lot of different things, healthy lifestyle choices, discipline, and just documenting. Well, I'm going to let him get into the project of what he's doing for a living. But Mr. Rodgers, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time out your schedule to come down here and do this. Especially, I like the fact that y'all came down. And boy, when I first met him, I told him, hey, man, we can do stuff over the phone, but he's a moving type of guy, gentleman, and I'm loving it that people are coming down.
Yeah, it's always good for a road trip,
Yeah, hey,
come out,
nice scenery,
Yeah.
Get outside the busy city, the hustle bustle of Atlanta. Especially, I think it's gotten overcrowded now, way too much. I used to drive up there when I worked in Midtown. I worked in Norfolk Southern, and I hated the drive. I did that for 6.5 years, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's 75, 85.
Yeah, I hate that. But anyway, not about me, it's about you. I want to understand your love for martial arts.
Okay.
Where did that start at?
All right. Well, like you said, I grew up in Stone Mountain. I have two brothers, and we're all 3 years apart. I'm a middle child.
Okay.
So my oldest brother.
You had a middle child syndrome, did you?
I probably do, to be honest with you. My mom can tell you more about that. But my oldest brother, he's 28. I'm 25. My older brother's 22. And my dad, when we were younger, he used to travel a lot for his job. And so my mom was like, I want something I could put all three of y'all in at the same time. And that just so happened to be martial arts because, we all had different interests.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be, have to rip and run, taking one to basketball, one to football, So we just all did martial arts. And I started that when I was 5. And like I said, I'm 25 now. So it's been 20 years later.
So which actually martial art was it? Was it certain?
When I started, it was kind of like a combination of all of them. Taekwondo, Muay Thai, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. But once I hit about 10, I started competing, strictly Taekwondo sport, Olympic style Taekwondo.
Okay.
Did
you get a black belt or?
Yeah, 3rd degree black belt.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I stopped at blue, so
okay.
So I could identify, with that particular style of martial arts.
Yeah.
I think I would have went all the way, but just other stuff happened on my life. Yeah, and then learning a lot of different forms and stuff like that. Oh, what was it, the Pie Guys or something like that? Yeah, you lost me. So I was like, yeah. It gets a little complicated, but how did those competitions,
Competitions are actually probably the best part because, Taekwondo is a Korean sport, and it comes from Korea. So when you go to competitions, there'll be a lot of people from different, races, different cultures. It's martial arts, so, you see a lot of Asian people doing it. But then you also have people from all over the world doing it as well. So just doing that for, so long, traveling to different countries, meeting different people, it kind of just opens your eyes, to diversity. But at the same time, we all have something connecting us.
Yeah.
So I was in, the Dominican Republic and Mexico for about 5-6 weeks last year, helping a friend of mine train for the Olympics. And I speak a little Spanish. I took a few years in college and whatnot. But the fact that Taekwondo is Korean, so we had the, Hispanic coaches speaking Korean trying to help me understand Taekwondo,
Yeah.
It opens your eyes to the world a little bit.
So, with those competitions, was it more based purely on just sparring, or did you have to do forms and breaking up the boards and stuff? Or
after I turned about 15, strictly sparring. So it became martial arts became a lifestyle for me. I had to eat right. We had weight class, almost like the UFC boxers. Eat right, work out 2-3 times a day. Spend 4 or 5 hours just working out every day for 15 years.
So I don't think the martial arts really gets enough credit for the discipline that it teaches individuals.
It doesn't. Because most people think about martial arts, they think about they can defend themselves, they can punch, they can kick, they can, put someone in a choke, but it's a lot more than that. I don't necessarily feel the need to, go up and, try and buck to somebody because I know I can take care of myself. And, it just kind of gives you a different, like, once you can do it, it's like you don't have to continue to try to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, prove yourself.
Yeah. And then, like I said, it's also a lifestyle. So, you get into eating right, you get into working out, you get into healthy living, and it benefits you in the long run. And so that's one thing I want to promote. And martial arts, it's not just fighting, but it's it's a form of meditation, it's a form of fitness, it's a form of it's a lifestyle. It really is. And I think Bruce Lee said it best. You gotta what was that quote Bruce Lee had? He was talking about I don't remember the quote off the top of my head, but yeah, he had a quote about that.
Is the what is it, the 6-inch punch? Or
the 1-inch punch?
1-inch punch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that real?
Probably, to be honest with you. I mean, the way Bruce Lee's philosophy and the way his mindset was, I wouldn't be surprised if he could actually do that. He trained his body, for that. He trained his body to be fast, strong, powerful. So he probably did do it.
Okay, so where has that journey taken you now into what you're trying to do now with showcasing Atlanta?
Well, I was a sociology major, in school, and my love for sociology kind of spread from my love for comic books. I'm a huge comic book fan.
Are you Marvel or DC? Or both?
Both. I have to be both.
Okay.
Nightwing is my favorite, but Black Panther is also up there too, and that's DC and Marvel. But just like the way they comic books made sociology easy for me. Like you can read an X-Men comic, change the word mutant for any minority group, and that's a social issue. I was watching the show on Fox, Gifted, the other day, and they were talking about mutants and how they were being hunted, and one of the mutants was having a conversation, and I was just listening to it, and I was like, you could change mutant to African American, and this conversation is something that people still have today. You could change mutant to homosexual, LGBTQ.
Yeah, all the letters.
All those letters.
Yeah.
And it's a legitimate conversation.
It is.
And that's just X-Men. I mean, you got the Hulk, and that was created after World War II, the effects of nuclear radiation on people. Bruce Banner is affected by radiation. You have Superman, in the Cold War. He loses his power in the Red Sun, and the red stems from communism. You have Wonder Woman and the women's rights movement. So just like all that stuff, kind of fed into my interest in sociology. And currently, living in Atlanta and being around Atlanta, Atlanta's like the ideal place to study sociology with the intersection of culture and diversity and society. And that's what I'm trying to do.
So as far as the portrayal of Atlanta right now, I think anybody outside that doesn't know about the city, that's not in the state of Georgia, because I would imagine that, no matter where you live in the state of Georgia, somehow, some way you're going to pass through Atlanta and get some interaction with it. Well, I see people living in, South Carolina and the ones who don't travel per se. It seems like what they broadcast on television for the last couple of years have been nothing about drama and just black Hollywood not knowing how to act, sort of say, and they're not showing how diverse it is. Because I'm like, I know you can go to like, was it the 5 Points or going through that way, you see all sorts of diversity and culture going on.
Yeah,
but that stuff is overshadowed and not covered enough.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, growing up in the suburbs, I kind of feel like cities in general have a bad rep, you know, because during the shift from the to the Industrial Revolution, people came to cities to start over. You know, you could be whoever you want to be in a city.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, people went wild. They did all kind of stuff, and even today, you hear, you know, drugs, violence, murder, death. You know, just bad stuff about cities. But at the same time, you know, cities are you know, melting pots for diversity. That's what they were established to be. And especially in Atlanta over the past decade or so, with the music industry, the entertainment industry, as well as, you know, we have the airport,
which is the number one in the world.
Exactly. So it's just like so many people get, you know, left in Atlanta, and there's so much stuff going around. It's like, how does all the people and how do all the culture and diversity, you know, how does that make Atlanta what it is? And that's, you know, what I'm interested in.
And through that, you're going to document that.
Yes.
Now, will this be more like a docu-series where it's like your perspective, or is it like just hardcore facts? Or
it'll be a little bit of both. You know, because like I said, I grew up in Stone Mountain, you know, 10, 15 minutes right outside the perimeter. But I also spent a good deal of time inside the city as well. And so I am a little biased. You know, this is my home, and I want to portray the best side of it. But then, you know, I'm aware that there are also issues that need to be addressed, and, you know, things that people need to know as well.
Okay, well, I want to get into some of those real quick, but I want to get to a song and let the people, you know, get some music in their ears again.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in a moment. Anybody y'all want to, you can dial in 917-889-8041. This is Giddy Supreme. How about it? All right, we're back, and we have Mr. EK.Rodgers, who was telling us about his documentary that he's going to do. Is basically social experiment, I would say.
It's a social ethnography.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, like a participant study and just, you know, exploring the city of Atlanta.
Now, with that particular project, is this something that you're self-funding, or are you looking for people to help fund that, or how are you going about with that?
Honestly, I mean, both. For now, you know, it's self-funded, and I'm figuring out what makes, you know, my city great. You know, the popular places that people know about, the not so popular places that people don't know about. You got, you know,
like your hidden gems
exactly
in the city.
You know, whether it's restaurants, whether it's, you know, little clubs, whether it's pop-up shops, just, you know, stuff that's individual to Atlanta that makes Atlanta special.
So as far as from your perspective and what you see, how do you think Atlanta is cast in like a nationwide look or a world look?
I think it's on the come up. I mean, we have, you know, historically, you know, we were one of the centers for the civil rights movement. You know, you have the Martin Luther King house down the street. Well, you know, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And, you know, just so much stuff around that, and then the fact that, you know, it's one of the biggest music you know, hubs in the country. So we have, you know, the whole trap rap scene that developed out of Atlanta, you know, with Gucci Mane and Future and all them. And then at the same time, you know, the fact that, you know, something even as simple as the fact that I want to say for the past 4 decades we've had African American mayors, and they think that this election might be the first time in 4 decades where there's not an African American mayor in the city of Atlanta, and just, you know, stuff like that. So I think Atlanta's, you know, on the rise, and well, I know Atlanta's on the rise, and yeah, you don't want it to hear, oh, everyone in Atlanta must be a drug dealer because all the people you hear about from Atlanta, you know, started trapping on the streets. But there's more to that. There's more to Atlanta than just that. You know, there's people out there working hard, achieving their American dream.
So what would be something, I guess, a hidden skill set or a gem, whether it be like, a college or, a trade or whatever the case may be, that Atlanta produces a lot of that most people probably wouldn't even think of?
Honestly, I'd have to say Atlanta creates a lot of talented individuals, and I think that's, people see this, the content that's coming out of Atlanta, but I don't think people necessarily fully understand the content that's coming out of Atlanta. I mean, you listen to Gucci Mane's story, right? And, he was, selling drugs, he went to jail, but now,
A couple of times.
yeah, a couple of times. But now, like, I mean, he turned his whole life around, and all the drug money he made, is, I mean, legitimate, and it's stuff like that people overlook. I mean, I don't condone, him selling drugs and none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was able to he did stay true to himself, and he was able to achieve his goal. He's a millionaire. He's, married to the love of his life, and he's living the dream right now. And it's not. I feel like hip hop's kind of taken over, and when people think hip hop, or people think Atlanta, they think hip hop and they think movies, which is fine. That's what Atlanta's being known for. But there's also so much other stuff. The fact that we have that food truck park on Howell Mill that has the Blaxican restaurant. Black and a Mexican food.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah.
The other day. I did not know where that was. So
they're collard green quesadillas on point. Like it's stuff like that.
I definitely would love to. Next time I go to Atlanta, I'm about to try that.
Yeah, try it. It's hitting.
Just mixing the two, Hey, but that's what it's all about, though. Is letting a melting pot stir up and see what it can produce, because that's what they sell America to the world as.
And it's like
this melting pot.
I feel like people are finally starting to embrace it a little bit more. I feel like they're still, especially with all the racial tension going on. But I feel like, especially here in Atlanta, people are starting to embrace it a little bit more, combining, the combination of cultures. And I feel like that's one of the good things about Atlanta, that, it's not just, you got the black people here, the white people here, or whatever, but people are starting to mix, and a new culture is being developed, and it's not just the individual ones that we already had.
So, what would you say there are some key opportunities to fix within the city or the city limits or the metro Atlanta? Because I think of Atlanta, I don't even think of like just Fulton County anymore, and just the inhabitants. Was it 400,000? I think of the entire surrounding area with all those cities. Yeah, so many people in and out.
So fix that's a difficult question, but I know one big issue in Atlanta currently is the gentrification that's going on. I mean, I currently live near the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and projects that were across the street from that stadium were just tore down. And so, it makes me wonder, it's like, what's going to happen to schools like Clark and Morehouse and Spelman once, some of the lower income housing is tore down around that area and a different group of people start moving in? How is that going to affect, those schools or something like that? Or, my great-grandmother used to live on Boulevard. And I drove, right by her apartment where she used to live. And when I used to go, she died in 2007, and I used to, go stay with her quite a bit, between like 2004 to 2007. And being in that area then and going to that area now, it's just like, these people weren't here, when she was here 10 years ago. And that whole area is just, different. And, there's nothing wrong with bringing money and bringing people into the city, But at the same time, you can't forget the people that were already there and that, can't afford to live here once, land developers come in and take over.
Yeah.
So I think I think gentrification is because so much stuff is happening with the movies, with the music, with the culture in general, that it's bringing people to the city, but it's also pushing people, the people are here already out, and I think that's going to be a big problem.
When it comes to, I guess, is the new face of Atlanta as it progresses forward. Because I used to hear that a lot, that especially when I worked there, you cannot run into anybody who's actually from the city because everybody is not from the city.
And I mean, and people are surprised, to find out that I born and raised in, Georgia or whatnot. But there's so many people that are coming in and they're bringing their own, individuality and ideas, and I mean, it's making Atlanta great, but it's also,
there's a trade-off for it.
There's a trade-off, opportunity cost, and both of those are stuff I'm interested in looking at. Just the overall, a study of what makes Atlanta, and yeah.
So as you move forward with the project, do you have a timeline for when you'll wrap up the actual study and then put it out?
It's gonna be ongoing. It's gonna be ongoing. My websites that most of it will be on is coming soon, but I'll be documenting all this through social media, Instagram, Twitter, and then of course my website, Facebook. So yeah, you can keep up with it on that. It's gonna be going on, as long as stuff's happening in the city. Like I said, Atlanta's my home. I love it there, and I, as long as I can, promote my city and be proud of my city, then that's what I'm gonna do. So there's not a exact timeline. But I mean, I'll be posting stuff, about cool little spots. I'll be talking about issues that are happening with the martial arts stuff. That's that's a lifestyle that I live. So I'll be talking about that as well. And then you can't talk about Atlanta without talking about like the music, the fashion. So I'll be doing. I know a bunch of stylists, so I'll be working with, stylists, putting together, just showing people, showing off the fashion of Atlanta, showing off the music of Atlanta, the up-and-coming artists and all that good stuff.
When is this to take place as far as when people can start tuning in to your social media?
You can start now. The website, and most of it won't probably get launched until January of next year. Okay. Yeah, once I get, the website fully finished and all that stuff. But I mean, I've started now, and I go out and I look for different places, unique places, and yeah, it's just fun.
Are you looking for any individuals who are interested in doing the same type of study, or just adding to your study to come on board, or
if anyone that is interested in the city of Atlanta or showcasing their skills that are from Atlanta, yeah, they can reach out to me on my Instagram, my Twitter. You can shoot me an email.
Okay, give me the information. Go
ahead.
My
Instagram is Ek.Rodgers. My Twitter, I actually just changed it. It's the Black Lantern. So the BLK Lantern. And you got Seafood over there cracking up. But yeah, you can follow me on that. You can send me an email, EkRodgers514@gmail.com. If you got somewhere you want me to check out, something you think interesting that I should look up, just reach out to me and I'll take a look.
All right. Well, before we get out, what is your overall goal, or what do you want to accomplish once this is all said and done?
The overall goal is, well, one, to do my study of culture and society, and how the culture of Atlanta and all the cultures in Atlanta have created this society that we now call Atlanta, as well as just promoting cities. Like, so much goes on in cities that gets overlooked. So just promoting the people, promoting the culture, as well as for people that need lifestyle sections, you know, they can follow me on that. For people that need information about, you know, fashion or anything like that, they can follow me on there as well. You know, just everything Atlanta. So
okay, so anything Atlanta they need to be updated with, all the hidden gems, just just getting the overall sense of the real Atlanta as opposed to what they put out there as far as marketing and stuff just to attract tourists.
Exactly.
So I definitely appreciate your time. I think that's going to be a very interesting study, and as long as you the documentation of the process, because people will still be able to go back and catch up on it.
Yeah.
Might even might even inspire other things to come. So
I'd hope so.
Definitely, I'd love to see where it is 6, 7, 10 months from now, what you've accomplished and the information you've been able to pull from that. Appreciate you taking the time out your day, like I said, to come do the show.
It's not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Anytime need to send information, just send it on to me, and I'll tell people about it. But any last words for anybody out there?
No, I'll let you know once the website actually gets started, and that's when I'll be putting stuff out regularly. So just keep an eye out for it.
All right. Well, that is Mr. EK.Rodgers, and you can follow him on Instagram as EK.Rodgers. And if y'all want to be a part of the project, or you have any tips, you want to invest, whatever the case may be, hit him up, and he'll be able to point you in the direction. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.